This day 1076, the Arukh HaShulchan Yomi. Black spots are coming short or more. The Arukh HaShulchan Yomi, please comment directly. You very greatly appreciate it. Today we're doing Simon. Tzadik Hey, you're there. Test the design. Test. The Zesh said the Beit Soshin is Bash B'Kter Choleves. We talk about not by not, of course. The that which you wrote, I think it's the Beis Yosef, that egg which is cooked in a milking pot. Mutar says you put it, stuff it inside a chicken. Left after goes not specifically chicken. Do I think basar behema, so in meat. Not by not. Ben basar behema also b'chad min Torah. Ben basar of the rabbanon. Doesn't make a difference. The fact that animal meat is also the rice, but chicken meat the rabbanon. Pila beitza klufa, even if the egg was peeled when it was cooked in the milking pot. Imrak hakdera as long as the pot was clean. El mishun b'kor din zehu michuvas Rashba. The sources are in the Rashba b'sham ha'maisa yakach. There the story was an egg and shell. If Dr. Levi usually normally brings the language of the source, which is said, if it's cooked with meat, it's also eaten with a milky dish. If it's cooked in a shell, it is simple. The eggshell is porous. And the taste enters it. And the evidence of this, the when you cook an egg in colored water, evidently the colored water will penetrate into the egg itself. Can't say reason because it's mixed through the shell. In other words, let's look at the shell as a pot. So it's not by not, right? The egg into the water, and the water into the egg into the shell, and the shell into the water, or vice versa, the water into the shell into the egg. No, you can't say it. The nachshava klipa complete to consider like a vessel. Now, there's certainly holes in the shell. Doesn't mean real holes. Okay, not coming to the dakim, very thin holes, which you can't see with the naked eye. Nevertheless, it's not similar to a kli. I think actually the eggshell, when you put it under a very powerful microscope, is kind of like a weave, and therefore it is, of course, porous. You would milash leheja. If my language word seems explicit, to be nyana, not by not. Yesh mash osachatchila brak b'diavad mutar. There's something which are preferably also, but after the fact of mutar. Yesh mash those things which you can do deliberately. To put the fish into a fleshik plate in order to eat them with milk. Also, you should not do it deliberately. If they were in the plate, but the avid after the fact, when you took them out. They came out. You're allowed to eat them. Oh, okay, yes. You shouldn't have put them there deliberately, but once you did put them there, right? Now, when you take them out, you're allowed to eat them with milk. Okay, so to put them in the plate deliberately, to then layer them with milk, you put them into the plate, and then you took them out. Then, at that point, you're allowed to deliberately eat it with milk. At that point, you're allowed to eat them. Since you're allowed to eat them, mutar means you're allowed to do it deliberately. Is something with Arukh HaShulchan where previously once it gets to eating, there's no it's not. We don't talk about lechatchila by definition. It's all but the evidence at this point. I ain't sure. So this is the chatchila shebediavad. Those also if he did it deliberately, to put the fish into a fleshly plate, to eat them in milchik dish. We find him not to eat them with the milchik dish. Those argue since it's just a chumrah to distance you from a problem which would be direct tam. But the Arukh HaShulchan passes like the first opinion that we do find you shouldn't do it. If you did it deliberately, we don't let you then put it into together with the milk. In order you shouldn't get habituated to doing things which are not permitted. The Ramah writes, Yesh machmirin, but those who are machmir in roasting and in cooking, less or not by not, forbid not by not. The minig is to preferably forbid. The only after the fact, it's mutter no matter what. As typically to eat with milk and meat themselves. But to put them into a milchik or fleshik plate, that is mutter to even liberally, that's the custom. Also, if they weren't cooked or roasted first, it just happened to be in a fleshik pot, a fleshik vessel, with milk itself. So to vice versa. If the keli in which they were cooked or roasted was no stam gam, was 124 hours since last use, then you can even deliberately eat it with the opposite type. Yud base hayeshma arkan shono. Yud base hayeshma chmirim zeu hadeya hashniya shebasif hay. Yeshma is the second opinion which you brought down way back in Sif Hay. This is the second opinion I think was there. Yeah, that was attributed to the Rivan name of Rashi. Okay. Udir maskim hagam udir rishon shel das or bas. Kamili is masking to the first to the first opinion brought down there, which is the opinion of the other opinion in Rashi and Rabbeinu Tam, the Riyazokin, and the Rambam, that it would be mutter. Not by now we mutter even if cooked or roasted. But preferably we're marking like the second opinion. Over the Evan mutter, but in the Evan situation, it's okay. So it's preferable not to eat them cooked together, cooked in the fleshik pot. There's not to eat them don't eat them with the fish, with the milk dish. But you did put them in the milk dish. You're going to eat the mixture of somebody that was showing rely on the first opinion. This is not like a which you spoke about a few moments ago. I am sure. Those who want to say that if it's roasted, it's also even b'di'evet. It's a shachan marshal. So if you had the shlish and that is the third opinion that was brought down previously. Okay, for the mod, doesn't sound like that. Especially the Beis Yosef goes like the first opinion, the most lenient. So therefore, it's hard to say the Ramah jumped to a third opinion, which is even more machmir, without making that clear. It would probably jump to the second level, which is more machmir, but not machmir all the way. Those who want to say that even go to the second opinion, if the fish and the plate were both hot, because bashut as if they were cooked together, it was cooked in that plate for usher and it's usher. One is hot and one is cold. That's the thoughts. Doesn't stand away from the Rishonim. The emesh k'tas mashkim lashon hatur. Tur it seems perhaps that way. Shakasu writes dogim roschim b'chulei b'korat sonenes hot fish in a cold plate, etc. Osha dogim sonanim, or the fish is cold, etc. Ayin shom. Gamhu ain't coming also b'dafka. He doesn't mean specifically. Rabusa Kamar is saying to a chiddush. Custom farshim. Not sure he means what the chiddush is. I guess that even in that case we ask her. Okay, in other words, he says that the dogim roschim b'kar, so as you should still refrain from relying on that or not. Ryla said, okay, the evidence is otherwise. Why would you conclude avolim these bashlu? But if they're cooked, like in which case he asks b'yevet. Leim avol shneim chamin. Let's say if they're both hot without cooking. Avadai then chiluk b'seh. So there's no distinction as long as it's not being cooked. Even if they're both hot, it's we can make them not by not. At least if you didn't do it deliberately. The bracket says here, "Begam agon Baruch Frankel masigla begilyon." Baruch Frankel is on tas. But that's because we came. Says right this where busa l'rab. There's chiddush rab. The gam chaygav also kemuchad divrei that he asks even in those circumstances. The gam rosh gam rasken is also what the rosh means to say. Yeah, tuni grachai l'shoinam. So it follows their language, and so you don't need to go on to come on to the difficult interpretation of the Bach. Veduk, I don't know what he says. I'm not sure what that is either. Not just I'm not sure. I don't know. They look inside. You give out. To put them in a vessel is mutter even deliberately. Put something which is cooked in a milky pot, in a pot which has been used last 24 hours to use to cook meat. Even when it's hot, this is two tastes which come through vessels, right? You put the fish in the milchik pot, and then you put the in other words, so the milk went into the pot and then it goes into the fish. Then you put the fish into a fleshik pot, and there the meat which went into the pot will go into the fish. So it's two times which the two tastes come through kalim. So the somebody so you that's okay, right? Some say the rock litna mutter, only to place them gently. But the poor from a vessel in which milk was cooked. Is a dover. Now they cook something. To pour that cooked dish to a fleshing vessel which is within 24 hours. Also, it's also deliberately. As he writes later on, I think it's Ramah speaking. If you pour it from a kli rishon which was fleshik, al kli cholav on a milk keli, the new kli rishon is the halacha is the irui is like kli rishon. Ben yomo. It asks if it's in 24 hours. That's kind of shown. But his words there require analysis. We shall see there. But Rabbeinu going to skim with the mutter. He's going to say that even irui is okay. But time shitili nam kli, and the reason why he allowed you to put this in the kli of the other type is the possession we had there. Shown in this manner we rely on the first opinion. Didn't say word. So what was we machmir on? Where it's cooked and roasted, right? But not where it's put in the keli. There he says you're not machmir. Only where it's cooked and roasted. Okay, and that's also only a chumah. The baloni's bashul needs to tchila. That's what we just said. That which he said if they weren't cooked or roasted first, rak olu klisha basa just said they went into a fleshik dish. Mutar to eat them with milk itself. So passion. This is obvious. If they just went into the pot, it's mutar going to everybody. Thing is that the Achronim or Machmir said that if they're both hot, then it's as if they're cooked together. It's as if they're cooked together, and therefore not chatchila it's also. He was slightly lonelier, okay, but Arukh HaShulchan disagrees. But should have a seafood base, like he said previously. Sesh chesed in a clean she's bashlabo or nitzlabo, the vessel in which they were cooked or roasted. Loya ben Yomo was not within 24 hours. No game had to even deliberately came with the second type. Akalashano. Kanketan Pasha, this is also obvious. Why? So I can't say, but Simon Sad Gimel Ayin Sham. It says Simon Sad Gimel saying that this has already been explained. Tesvav. Odkosav also writes, Chol Zeksha Machol Eno Do B'Chorif. It's where the food stuff is not sharp. It's something sharp. So you cook sharp stuff in a fleshing vessel. I feel even the vessel is not 24 hours old. If it's more than 24 hours since last time it was used, obviously we just said, if it's more than 24 hours, or if you crushed, pounded, ground spices in a fleshik mortar and pestle. If you ate it with milk, oster filu b'di'evet. I'm not sure ochlo is the right term. If you put it in milk, it's oser in b'di'evet adi kashishim neger basar below them till the 60 corresponding to the meat which is absorbed. But a foodstuff is not called charif just because there's a little bit of spice in it. Rakim kulo davar charif. It has to be completely something sharp or spicy. Ruba there's a majority, that's enough. All this is from the Ramah. The bedavar charif lo miyan naparnat. Something which is sharp, we don't say naparnat. Mishum the charifu so because the sharpness mashvi like iser bein makes as if the iser is here in substance. The gam davar charif. Which I have been yomo. Also, something is sharp. There's no such thing after 24 hours. Sharpness enhances it, so it's still a good taste. If it's in the first 24 hours. Vav. I'll be clarifying next to it. Shami's bar ma'ikar davar charif. They're also going to learn what's considered to be a davar charif. Yesh lokim al din zeh, those who argue on this halacha of sfilu and they hold the not banat enchu ben charif and charif. There's no distinction between sharp and not sharp. But we have the Ramah to which we have to adhere to. If it's a suffix, if it's a dark if not, one can be lenient. And he's going to come back to us in the next simon. When emissions from a fleshing vessel and a milking vessel, well within 24 hours of the last use, they come into contact with each other. Bechom klirishon in the heat of a klirishon. That's what I was saying. Zeu not barnat imlad. We call this not barnat or not. Konkara shabasa such as fleshik dishes. Shulchu biyura cholevis which are washed in a milchik dishpan. Bechayim shazos b'hem in hot water where which is the level yatzuletis bowl. I feel shame neoman even they're both in 24 hours. Yes, the mutzar sun says permissible. Zeu mamish not barnat. There's not barnat case. Habasa because the meat in the plate, bakar mayim in the plate in the water, chen yura cholevis, and so to the dishpan. It's from the milk into the dishpan and from the dishpan into the water. At that point, there's still mutzar. It's the exact same thing as the fish in the fleshik plate. Yomar Borli, but he has to say with clarity. There's no fat adhering to them. If there's fat adhering to them, even one of them. So the second taste is one of Isser. So is that one which there's stuff be'ain. So the Shuman, there's not it's not a not. And unless the 60 the water to negate the substance of the fat which is on the surface of the plate or euro or the pot. I made a bari and slow shuman the davuk, but it's not clear to him that there wasn't fat adherent there. Also, it's forbidden. Meaning we say mistamei davuk shuman there probably was oil, fatty stuff. Avogav the stankim nikim, even though we assume by default that all vessels are clean. Shani hach is different. Harei ba atol adichon. You're coming now to clean them, and you know they weren't clean previously. It's a bichodesh. So that's what Maybe says. Sif Gimel. Yud Zayin. The Yeshiva was saying this food that there are several rabbis that hold the gam kem nikim also shneim neoman. Even in clean vessels, also when they're both within 24 hours. The ain zen not by not. It's not by not. Mishum shnei platus misarmi yachad. Because the two emissions mix together. When it's emitted from the plate into the water, from the pot into the water, the emissions meet each other. This is the second taste in basa b'chov. So they want to answer it. I guess at least b'chatchila. For the curse batsman no so you are batsman also the plates themselves touch the pot itself. Goes back and forth without even water. So that's a better much because of Shom. That's the Ramal. The Yeshua Pesrim. I feel in Shum Adav where those are even there was in fact cleaning them. And came Chamei Akelim Eno Ben Yom unless Kli Rishon unless the for the Kelim is not within 24 hours of the time was used as a Kli Rishon. But then all the vessels are mutar b'mayim nohagim b'hem is l'chatchila. But the water, which goes from vessel to vessel, you should be machmir l'chatchila. But if they're both within 24 hours, and you rinse them together without soap, okay, because that's as dam gam in a kli rishon, I call us everything's awesome. Again, there's a custom. We can't deviate. If they're rinsed together and a kli rishon, and I added without soap. And if they're done one after another, or b'kli you're in a kli sheni, even they are together, I call shari. Everything is mutar akan l'shano. End quote from the Ramah. And of course, in the following Sivim, he's going to explain it further.